Okay, so thank you all. It's April 5th, 2022. My name is Catherine Townsend and welcoming you to Africa Open Data Collaborative's monthly workshop and speaker series. And so glad to dive in today. I see we have people joining from Uganda and Ghana and Cambodia and many spaces. So we're going to jump right in at the moment to welcome Kiunga from Google News for a training on data visualization. So I'm gonna turn it over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, Catherine, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. It's good to be in this space and to interact with you. I'll share my screen so that we can just start off. Just give me a minute. Great. So I hope you can see my screen, and at any point, if I go off screen or you're not able to hear me, just let me know. Catherine will let me know. Right. So my name is Kiunga. I'm a teaching fellow. I work with the Google News Lab, which is under the Google News Initiative, and I handle Sub-Saharan Africa. I'm a journalist by training, and I have worked as a journalist for almost 12 years. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. I have worked as news editor, as a business editor, as a reporter, and I transitioned to this new role last year. So we'll be looking at a few things today. But first, just a brief overview of what we do and how Google and interacts and where our interests converge with media and the industry in terms of data. So we, as probably most of you know, Google cares deeply about journalism, and we believe deeply in spreading knowledge to make life better for everyone. Our core mission is to ensure that we make as much information possible to as many people as possible, and that's where search comes in, and YouTube and all the things that we do, all the platforms that we develop. It's all about making information available, and I think that's also the mission of journalism and mission of what you do as an organization. And this is a quote from Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Google, and he says it's at the heart of Google's mission, and it's the mission of publishers and journalists. So we have, because of this firm belief on how our mission and our beliefs and vision interacts, we have Google News Initiative, which is sort of a division within Google, which directly deals with the news organizations and the news industry. And we work with the news industry in 3 ways. So first one we do is advancing the practice of quality journalism. And this is through training. And this is where now the Google News Lab comes in. So we offer training to journalism students and journalists across the globe. And we offer these training sessions for free. And then the second way we work with the media industry is to strengthen and evolve publisher business models. And this is the whole aspect of sustainability and coming up with commercial models that will ensure that the digital, especially the digital business model, is sustainable. And then the third way we work with the media industry is to cultivate a collaborative global news community, whether it's through events, whether it's through creating technology tools that are useful in terms of collaboration. We have several of these events every year in every region that brings together stakeholders in the media industry to discuss some of the issues that are facing the 21st century or 22nd century media. So that's the 3 main ways we work with the media industry, and that's all under the Google News Initiative. So under the Google News Lab, we have 4 main tracks. So we have advanced search, and this is how you can best use Google and how best you can use our search engine to get the information that you're looking for. For journalists, that's a very important tool and a very important skill to have. It's also under advanced search that we also have tools like we have Google Alerts, where you can get now information directly to your inbox, the information that you are interested in. We have tools like Google Scholar, which is a repository of the search engine for information that has been peer reviewed, and also Google Trends. We also have a track on digital verification, and this is the whole aspect of fact checking, misinformation, disinformation. Google has developed tools, and we also work with partners who have these tools to help journalists and anyone in the information space to verify information. And then that track that we have is data journalism and visualization, which we'll be looking at today in brief. We have an hour today, so I'll pick a few tools that we can use in visualizing data. And then we also have a track on video, podcast, and AI tools that you can use in the newsroom. But beyond that, we also have many other tools and resources and training sessions that we have. And if you're interested in that, you can go check out our website. It's g.co/newstraining, g.co/newstraining. You can take the courses at your own pace, and it's also free. So if you really want to learn about the tools that we have for journalists and for data scientists, that's a place that you can also visit. So today we look at 3 tools that we can use to visualize data. And we look at this in terms of how best can you visualize data, how, from the simple ones to the more sophisticated ones. We'll start with data Gif Maker, and then we'll see how Google Sheets can be used to visualize data. And then lastly, we look at Flourish. Flourish is a tool. It's not a Google tool, but we work very closely with Flourish to ensure that some of the capabilities that are available in Flourish that are paid for, that these capabilities are free for journalists and media houses. So those are the 3 things that we'll be looking at today. I'll not able to see the questions as I move on or chat, but Catherine will keep me posted. So at the end, I can answer any questions that you may have, and then we'll have a brief session of feedback. So probably a good place to start is this tool called Visual Guide, and it's a directory or a visual guide that has been developed by FT. So FT is Financial Times, and it allows someone to understand which visualization is best for which kind of data. So sometimes as journalists or as visual storytellers, the problem sometimes we face is that we have this data, we have this information, but we don't know which visual will go best with the data that we have. So what FT has done in this is create a sort of a directory that helps someone to be able to just be able to pick the information that they're interested in and pick a visualization that works very well with that kind of data or with that kind of information. So I don't know if you're able to see that page there. So if I click on this, tell me if you're able to see the changes in your screen. So let's say I'm looking at change versus time. This is what you should be able to use. So it gives you an example. If, for example, share price movements or economic time series, these are the best types of visuals to use to illustrate change versus time. And then there's part to whole. Then you see that the best example, if you're looking at fiscal budgets or company structures, national elections, these are just examples. Pie charts and donut and tree maps, and these others can be best used to illustrate part to whole. So this is just a directory that gives you a visual guide on what is useful and what would work best with which kind of data. I'll send the link later. So if some of these resources that we'll be looking at today, I'll send them to the team, Catherine, and then if you're interested, you can reach out to them and then they will share the links and the tutorials. So let's start with this data Gif Maker, and it's a tool created by Google. It just creates data GIFs or GIFs, and GIFs are just animated images. And how this works is that you can create very simple and very fast visuals to complement your storytelling. It can be used on your social media to add an element of visual, and this can be done in less than 3 minutes to create these GIFs. And we'll create one. As I said, there are links to this. Let me just see if I can share that link with you. So I'll try and deep in and deep out of this so that I can share the links with you. That's the link, Data Gif Maker with Google. And I hope this is what you're seeing. You're seeing this. So we have 3 options with Data Gif Maker. So there's rectangles, circles, and racetrack. And rectangles gives you up to 3 possibilities, 3 options of comparing different terms. Circles and racetrack will give you up to 4 terms. So if you're on that link, you can just click on that and see how it appears on your end. But let's look at rectangles. So it's very easy to create a GIF. So you can, let's say, for example, you're looking at probably you want to animate something in sports and you want to show how probably budgets have been allocated in different sports categories. So let's say budget 2022, that's the title. And then you can indicate sports. So we have the option of either putting a percentage or absolute numbers. Because we're looking at numbers, let's start with the numbers. So you can say football. So indicate the terms there. Boom. Probably got, let's just put a number there. That's the value, that's how much they got this in this budget. You can try another term here. And that, let's look at netball. Got yeah, so you're comparing 3 terms. So rectangles will give you a maximum of 3 terms, and you can now visualize this, or you can change colors if you want. So let's change the colors here as you prefer. Not too many options here, but at least it gives you a few options that you can pick from in terms of colors. So if I preview that, that's how that GIF will appear. You can use that in your story. You can use it on social media if you download it. So there's 2 options here. There's high quality and low quality. So if I, for sake of time, if I click on low quality, it will start to create that GIF. And it will give me an option of either downloading the GIF as an image or as a link. That link, you can use it in your story. You can paste it and it will appear in your story. So that quickly breaks, if you want to break a monotony of story, if you want to add probably some visual effects into a story or into social media, that's how you can do it. So you can, if you click on this link, that's how it will appear. And now you can pick this, you can share it with either with someone, or you can paste it on your story, and this is what will show up. Yeah, so this is Data Gif Maker, a simple tool that you can visualize. Circles does the same. If I can open something that I've created here, if I open circles here, I was showing here that market share of different telcos. This is MTN, Safaricom, and Airtel. And this is in terms of percentage. You can see how that will shape out once you have either downloaded it or shared the link. So the process is the same. If you want to create a racetrack, you click on the racetrack, you type on the budget. Let's say you're looking at a percentage of, let's say, presidential race. So let's say you work with a percentage in terms of votes. Let's say the first candidate got maybe 25% of the vote. Second candidate got probably another 25. And you just want to show how that will pan out. So they got 50% of the vote. And now you can preview that and that's how it will appear on your page. So that's using a racetrack, then save it as a GIF, high quality or low quality, and you're good to go. Yeah, so that's Data GIF Maker. It works the same way across, whether it's circles, rectangles, and racetrack. As I said, if you have a few minutes and you probably are working on a breaking story or you are pressed for time, it's something that you can quickly use. All right, so let's move on to the next one. And this probably you might be familiar with. And this is spreadsheets and Google Sheet. And you can use Google Sheet to create your own visions very fast again. And you can also pull data from our website to Google Sheet and then visualize that. So let's start with having your own data. So you have your own data here. I hope you can see my spreadsheet. I need to make it a bit bigger. Let's see. And if there's any issue, please let me know. Let's first pull data. I'll show you how it works. Let's pull data from a website so that we do both at the same time. So let's say I have this page here. This is a list of countries by oil exporters. It's a Wikipedia page. It can be any page that you want to pull data from HTML. And I want to pull this table from here to Google Sheets. So there's a formula that we usually use and can be used to pull this table and paste it and move it to Google Sheet and then visualize that. So let's say I want to visualize top 10 exporting oil countries. I want to focus on the top 10, but I want to pull this table to Google Sheets. So the way you do it, you come back to Google Sheet and we start with the equal sign. Let me expand this so that you see it better. So let's start with the equal sign and then type import, and then you'll see a drop down here. There's import HTML. So if I click on import HTML, it will give me the formula there, and you can see its URL. It's telling me to put the URL. And basically what I'm trying to tell Google Sheet is to bring this table to Google Sheet, and then after that we'll be able to visualize. So there's a formula that we can use, and the formula here is you start with a quotation mark, as you can see, and then I go back to my Wikipedia page. I pick the URL, and then I paste that. So I've pasted the link of the table, of the page I want to pull data from. And then I put the quotation mark and then a comma. So you can see it has moved from URL. It was at URL here, the green highlight. If I put a comma here, it has gone to the next index. So the next thing it's asking me is query, and query is, it's Google Sheet is asking me what do I want to import, and basically what I want to import is a table, and that's what I'll indicate. Start with the quotation mark, table, and then I close the quotation mark, and then I put a comma, and then index is asking me what's the position of the table. There might be many tables on that page, and it's only the only table, and it's the first table. So with that, I just need to indicate it's one, the first one, or number one at the first table, and I don't need to put quotation marks on that. And then I close the bracket, and then I press enter, and I've imported the table. Sorry. So I've imported that table, and we'll do another example so that you get it. So that table has come here, and I want to visualize the top 10 in terms of oil exports, barrels per day. So I'll pick country and region, highlight all the way to Kazakhstan. Those are the top 10. So I make sure I highlight the country and also highlight the numbers of barrels per day that they export. So once I have highlighted that, I can come here and insert chart. At the top here, you'll see insert chart. You can see just by clicking that, it gives me a pie chart, and this is the default way. But now from there, you can change the visual as you see fit. So this is a pie chart. I can change to a bar graph like this to show the top 10 exporting countries in terms of oil. And I can now say, since I'm probably writing a story on Nigeria, I can pick Nigeria to highlight it. I double click on Nigeria, and then I change the color to make it stand out. I can also put the number of barrels in the bars by coming to customize. And below here, you see data labels. So you click on data labels. Now the actual numbers appear next to the bar graphs or inside the bar graphs. So there's a way you can export this. Once you're done, you're satisfied with this, and you can also edit directly from here if you want. If you don't want this, probably you just want to indicate this. You want to edit the title, so you can directly edit there. And then now you can either download this PNG directly and use it, either upload it on your story as an image, or you can publish the chart, or you can even copy the chart as it is and paste it somewhere else. You can publish the chart. If you want something that will be interactive, then you can indicate interactive here, so that once you publish this, you can pick the code, this code over here, embed it on your story or wherever you want to put it, and it will appear there. So if anything changes here, if you change something here and you've chosen on interactive, it will also appear on the other side, on where you've published it. Yeah, so that's it. And if you want to edit this, there are many ways to change. You can change to this kind of bar graph. As I say, there's also this pie chart, and then the other things that are here. This you just need to choose depending, as we said, on the kind of information. What do you want to communicate? So that's where you come back to. So if you want to customize that in terms of chart style, the colors, the background color, this is on the customized side. So if you are here and you probably don't know how to go back to the edit button, so the 3 buttons on the top right corner, if you click on that, you'll be able to edit that chart and use it the way you see best. So let's quickly do one, so that probably if someone has just joined, will be able to follow with me. So we want to, this is a web page that shows the top the solar power board, the top countries in terms of installed capacity. So this is the table that we want to import. We want to import this table and visualize it. So what we said, we come back to Google Sheet. We start with the equal sign. Let me expand that. So start with the equal sign. Let's first copy the URL. Start with the equal sign and then import. You'll see import HTML. So you always start with the equal sign, and when you start typing import, it will give you the options of XML, data feed, import range. So all these other imports also have their functions. We might not be able to get into it at this time, but you can import HTML if you want to bring in some table from a website. So it's import HTML. And now you start with quotation mark. You paste the link of where you want to import the table, and then you put a quotation mark there. As you can see, if you put a comma, it takes you to the next function, and that function is asking you what kind of data do you want to import, and the data that you want to import is a table. So you start with a quotation mark, you write table, and then indicate comma, and then it's only one table, or the first table. So it's asking you what's the location of that table. and you don't need to put a quotation mark, just indicate that it's table number 1, and you close that with a bracket. So once you press enter, it has imported the top, actually not the top, all the countries that are on that page, and also the next page. So you'll see here that many countries have been imported. And now we want to visualize the top 10 countries in terms of installed capacity. That's up to Spain. So click on country and select up to Spain, the capacity, installed capacity of Spain. Make sure it's highlighted. And now you can come at the top menu and click on insert chart. So once you have that, you can now see that it has imported. You can change that if you want something like this, or if you want the bar graph, you can also, the pie chart, you can also do that. So you can see it has also imported the flags as they are. If you want to highlight India, double click on India and change the color. Then if you want to share this, you can either download PNG or you can publish chart, and you'll see the option there. When you publish it, you'll get the code, the URL, the HTML code to paste on your story, or use it wherever you want to use it. So this is just a quick way to either pull data from a page, quickly visualize it. It doesn't take time, and then you can now download it or use the URL as you see fit. So that's Google Sheet. And Google Sheet, let me just jump back a bit to see if there are any questions. All right, we'll review at the end with more questions if you have. Okay, so let's jump to the last and final visualization tool, and this is what we call Flourish. Flourish. So Flourish, let me share the link first with you. So Flourish is a tool that allows people to visualize data in a very easy way. So you don't need to know coding, you don't need to manipulate any code. It works basically in terms of, they have provided you with what they call some templates, and all you need to do is replace your data with their data so that it picks that visualization. So it does everything for you. As you can see, it allows you to engage your audience, empowers the whole team. You can work as a team. You can embed and share, present this. And all these organizations have been using Flourish. And as I was saying, Google has worked with Flourish to ensure that journalists and developers alike have special access, which we call a special newsroom plan. So if you are a newsroom, if you are in media, you can come here and apply for the newsroom plan, which is free. And you can now get capacity to even create better visualizations in simple ways. But as for now, you can also sign with your own personal account. It's free. It's a free account. It allows you to do so much more. So you can go ahead and sign in, and then I'll walk you through it as we move along. So let me give you a quick overview of how Flourish works, and then we'll look at an example or two. So as I said, what Flourish has done has created pre-designed templates of different kinds of visualization, and it has the front end and the back end. So the front end is what you see, is what the consumer sees, but now the back end is now where you load the data. So these templates allow you to replace that kind of data. So you just need to look at that, how the table is structured. If you are looking to create a similar visualization, just look at that table and structure your data as they have structured it, and then you can easily replace, substitute in your account. You can substitute the data that they have with your own data, and it will create the visualization that you want. You can publish and share that. It's in CMS, in any kind of websites. It's very responsive, even on mobile. So there are basically 6 steps, and quickly just go through them. So first of all, you choose a template, and then you give it a title. So that's where you start from. Then you go to the data tab, and then you replace or merge. That's for now, we'll just look at replace. And then after that, you indicate which columns you want to visualize, and then it will show you the preview of how the visualization will look like. Now after that is now the look and feel, the customizations, the colors, the boundaries, and then now after that you just click to export or publish. So that's how it works in terms of Flourish, 6 steps, simple steps. And I think it's best just for me to jump into one of it so that you can see how it works. So this is my account. I have, since I've been a member for some time, I have created some visions here. So once you create a visual, you get your own tab, but you can create even folders in terms of how you are working. But the first thing that you need to know, if you're on this thing, on this platform, you have signed in, you come to new visualization, visualization. That's where you start. And it gives you a wide variety of visualizations to pick from. So if you're talking about line, bar, and pie charts, there are many here that you can choose from that you want, if you want to go with that line. Then there are maps. You can also do what we call projection maps, either for continents like Africa. If you have data that you want to visualize for Africa, you can pick on Africa. If you want to visualize a map with counties, if you're in Kenya, it's counties or provinces or states, and it's not among here. We'll look at how you can do that. You can upload your own GeoJSON file that has boundaries, like local boundaries, and then from that GeoJSON file, then you can add to it now data, whether it's population per county or per state or per province, or you can add things like electoral boundaries and so on and so forth. So that's projection map. And then you have scatter, you have 3D maps. There are many, so they have a lot of visions here, which you can just pick. If you're interested in a line chart trace, you just need to click on simple line chart trace, look at that data, and then replace it with your own. So since there are so many, I'll just pick one, and then I'll show you examples of how others have used it. So let's pick something that we can just start a simple one, like a column chart grouped. So I have data that I want to visualize. So I pick on column chart. And this is the default or the preloaded template that Flourish has already created. So as you can see, there's preview and then there's data. So this is the back end. This is where now if you change any of these figures, it will change here. And basically, as I was saying, you just need to upload data and replace your own data with this, and you'll get your visual. So let's work on it. So the first thing you want to do is put a title to your visual. So I got this some export data from I think the Central Bank of Kenya here, and I want to start with a title, export data. So the first thing you do is you come to data here, and now I have downloaded that table. So upload data. So let me just upload it from my laptop. So value of export to selected countries. So what I want to do is import this table, and it looks like this. And I want to replace with this default table that is there that Flourish has provided. So it will tell me ready to import. So I can import like that. And then it tells me that I have been able to import 19 rows. And now it tells me next, select the columns to display. So you can see this is my table that I was able to import. So it has the months on this side. It was just as it is. And then it has the countries that probably Kenya has exported to. And probably my story is about, I want to show how we are exporting to different African countries. So I can tell Flourish that I want you to display Uganda, Tanzania, and Egypt. Because as of now, what it's displaying, as you can see here, it's showing UK, Germany, US, and Netherlands, because that's what I have highlighted here. And if you want to change what needs to be visualized, you come to values on the right side. If you're seeing values here, I'll pick Uganda, Tanzania, and Egypt. So that's column F to G. And then I add a comma, so there's no space. And then I include J. So that's Uganda, Tanzania, and Egypt. That's F, G, and J. If I click enter there, if I tap enter, you see it has changed. This is what it's being visualized. And if I come on the preview side, you'll see that it has exported that. And you can see as I hover over that, it shows. So once you have imported, now everything else, if you want to change how this looks like, you want to change the type of graph, if you're not too satisfied with this, you want to change the colors, you want to change the labels, you want to add a title and a subtitle, or everything else comes on the right side. So for example, if I want to separate these charts, grid of charts, I can click on grid of charts so that each country has its own chart, but in one place. So you can see Uganda, Tanzania, and Egypt, and it gives me a visual story that probably Kenya exports more to Uganda than to Tanzania and to Egypt. And you can see the months there. And then you can even change the kind of visuals that you want to have, whether it's bar chart grouped like that. So everything else is from this chart over here. And the master apologies, there's an event going on. I hope it's not distracting the office. So everything else is, you just need to change here, and you'll see it changes as you move on. And then the colors, you can change the colors from here. So it uses palettes. You can use the palettes to make it visually appealing. And you can choose the colors that you want. You can add annotations, or you can, let's start with the header. So header is at the right hand corner. So if I add header here, so it's value of exports. If I click that, the title has come, and you can also add a subtitle. So I've added a subtitle there. If probably this works for me and I'm interested, I'm keen on now, you can even add a footer. A footer is where you add the source. So the source here is CBK, and you can add the URL for CBK. So you can see the source has appeared here. If you're okay with this, now you can come here and publish it. So you have two options, either download HTML, and now you can paste the HTML in your story, or you can download image. So if you download the image, you can use that image as it is. So add to Canva. So what happened recently is Canva, the startup acquired Flourish, and they were able to integrate the two so that you are able to use Flourish on Canva. If you're doing presentations, if you're doing designs, simple designs, because it works the same way as Canva works. So that's basically a simple way how you can do that. I think in the free version, you're not able to either one of these two, either download image or download HTML. There's one that is a bit restricted, but you can use one of them. I think it's HTML. The image is available. And you can, once you have done that, you can publish it to wherever you want it to be. So there are many options that are available in terms of Flourish, and I'll show you a few. So all of them work the same way. Basically, that's it. You upload your own information, it replaces what is there in the template. So let's look at what you can do with Flourish. So there's like this example here. This is a line race or chat race. If I replay this, you'll be able to see how that plays out. So you can create something like this. And again, as I said, all you need is to have look at the template, and the templates are on the create your visualization page. If you want something like this, you just need to look at the template, how have they structured that table, and then create your own table or import your own table with Google Sheet, and then you're able to create something like this. I was able to pull information from the F1 site. I did I cleaned it up a bit in terms of names, and then I was able to create a sort of a dummy kind of race chart with using that. So you're able to pull data from a table, from a live page, and what Flourish also allows you to do is to pull data from a live feed. So let's say the electoral commission is publishing results of the votes that are coming in. Flourish and Google Sheets, you can be able to pull data live as it happens, and then it will update the vision as it goes on. So you can imagine having this on your website. You're pulling data from like electoral commission or from a certain source. You're able to do that. So that's in terms of race chart. I don't know if there are others. This is like project management. You can create something like this for project management, and there are tutorials on how to go about that. And then there are pictograms. Pictograms are visual, also tells you how uses icons to represent certain numbers, and it goes to show it's also very good to, in terms of showing scale. So use these icons to represent scale and some numbers. Is there anything else? Yeah. And then there is this card templates. You can create something like this on your website or whichever place. So this is also cards. So you can add, so this is preloaded. You just need to replace the images and the content on that, or something like this. So if you probably want to visualize the elections, instead of creating these profiles every time, you create it once and for all, and you just create it once, and then every story will have, you just copy you paste the code on the story, and then you'll see the profiles appear like that. And then you can either choose from different parties. You change that like that. Now this is what a user is able to do. If they probably want to select, if your category was a certain political party, you can change that, and they'll be able to see it change on their end. So a few other, let me show you others that the capabilities that you have. So as I said, if you want to create your own map, I think I'll have to send a link for the tutorial to create your own map. I think that's the only thing that is not too straightforward, because you have to upload 2 data sets, one for the GeoJSON and one for the maps that you want to use. Let's see. So this is the cards that we have looked at and profiles. If you want to use that, there's something called photo slider. I'll show you here. This is a story done by USA Today, and you are able to upload the two images, the before and after, and now you're able to scroll left and right to see, and this is a user now able to scroll left and right to see the difference. So it creates a very nice interactive effect on your story, so that people can see the before and after. You see, they can see this. They have compared 2 counties or 2 areas in terms of forest service, and they are able to have this charts side by side for comparison. So this is USA Today, and then there is a story, a long feature done by Daily Maverick from South Africa, and it's about the River Nile that covers 7-8 countries that depend on River Nile and Lake Victoria. So you'll see they used a lot of different kinds of images. They were able to do Flourish and to do this kind of things like if you click on any of these dots here, it gives you more information about that deal, about that contract that affects the Nile. This is Kenya and more information. So this is a good way if you want to, if you have a lot of information in one place, you can use that. They are able to use maps, which is a different kind of thing. This is Flourish in Ethiopia. This is also Flourish. They have used Flourish to create this kind of visual and so on. So I'll send all these links to Catherine so that she can forward it to you. This is also a slider. It shows the before and after in terms of land utilization in a part of Egypt between 2007 and 2018. So you just need to use this scroller left to right, and you'll be able to see the change that has happened. So so this is a lot. There's a lot here, and this story over the Nile, and they have used these visions to bring to life some of the data that they were able to collect. I think that's it for today. I know I've really rushed because Flourish is a separate. I just wanted to introduce you to Flourish, but it takes around 2 hours just to train on Flourish and get deep into it. But what I'll do, I'll send the links, the tutorials, and you can just have your own, you can sign up and see what kind of visions you can create. I think that's it, but as I look for the questions, there is a feedback thing that we use here. So you can just type menti.com, and use this code 95356242. As I also see the questions that are there, menti.com, and use that code 95356242, and I'll be able to take your feedback and two or three more questions on feedback on the tools that you found useful, and probably this training, and whether you recommend it to someone else. So as I said, we offer this training for free, and among many others that we offer. So if you or your media house or your association are interested in any of those, either all on the tracks or some of them or any one of them, then just get in touch with me, or I'll leave my email and you'll be able to get in touch with me. So that's the code there. Let me see if there are any questions as you continue filling the feedback form.
Thank you so much, Ken. It's really helpful and very informative. If anybody has questions for Ken, feel free to type them in the chat or take yourself off mute. I see there is one question from Florence about the need for an API, which might have gotten answered, but and Ken's provided his email address too for follow-up. So it looks like APIs are just needed for enterprise accounts, but in general, can please jump in to use Flourish? Yeah,
it's just for enterprise accounts. If you just need to create a visual, you don't need an API, because they already have provided so many platforms, so many visuals in terms of templates. And if you're a newsroom, you can even get more capabilities by just requesting access to the newsroom account.
Great. And then Ken, you mentioned that you have several kinds of trainings. I think people have found this really helpful. Is there a place to see what other trainings are available from the fellows?
Yes, so I think I had indicated here. So what I can send you the full training menu that has breakdown of the training tracks that we offer. So these are the 4 main ones, but we have on geo, maps, we have on business tools, we have on AI, we have on many others that probably, if you look at the menu, then you'll be able to know what are you interested in, and then you can arrange a training for that.
Okay, wonderful. And then Arki joining from Cambodia has just shared that there's some updates to Flourish that they wanted to let you know about. So that's the chat for you to see.
Thank you. Okay, so that's a new, okay, it's a new development. Yes. So but for yeah, I think I'll have to look at that, because sometimes I've had some colleagues say they are having challenges with that. But as I said, we introduce the tools, and then the journalists, the researchers, the data journalists now go all out, and depending on what kind of data that you have, you're able to fully exploit these resources and tools. Thank you for that, Aki.
Okay, so while people are sharing their feedback, I appreciate a lot of the links that were shared, Ken, were shared in the chat and in the notes document, but we'll follow up and make sure that we can get these out to everybody. And I just want to thank you so much for your time. If you can scroll up through the chat now, it was really lively. People were really finding it very useful. So thank you for the discussion and the presentation. Okay, thanks, Jeffrey. And I'm just going to turn it over in these last few minutes to Shante. We have our own mentee that we just want to hear from you all, how these sessions are working, if you like the trainings, if you like the presentations, who you would want to hear from, if you want to hear from Ken again. So Shante, I'll turn it over to you.
Cool, thanks. Not sure if you can see my screen, but oh, awesome. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure if this one is going to work. It's not with Menti. I tried another one, so let's just give it a shot. I'm going to share the link with you guys. Just public, and let's see. Let me know if you can fold that link in.
Yes, the link seems to work. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. And you can kind of just write, I see there's a show correct answer. In this case, there was no correct answer. So interesting. One.
Is 1 high or is 5 high for when we're rating?
Oh, 5 is high.
Got it.
Yes, so 1 to 5, 5 is high, 1 not so high. Can anyone else fill in the link? Do you have any issues filling in the link?
Or if the links are difficult, is it easier to ask you all to answer questions on the chat?
Yeah, or I can perhaps also just switch to a Mentio. It looks like it is being filled in.
Great.
We're getting some feedback. There we go. Okay, well, it looks like it's a definite 5, Ken. I do agree. It was extremely insightful. I really loved it. I am going to go to the next slide just because we have some time constraints. So I actually asked the same question that Ken asked on his Menti. You have only 25 seconds to fill this in. So go, 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 go. I must say it was a tough one for me between actually all 3 of those. Obviously sheets I use regularly, so well done. Thanks. And then lastly, if you can just fill in what you would like to discuss next time, and you can fill in as much as you want. I hope this is easy enough for everyone to use. I'm not seeing any words pop up yet. Any ideas or suggestions as to what we should discuss next time? Or who you want to hear from? Interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed this training session. It was really cool. Awesome.
That's interesting to say open data initiatives. I wonder what that means. If you want to hear from others who are doing work, or if you want to share that kind of work. Do you want to share examples, or would you want to have trainings on these topics?
Thanks, Kat.
Thank you.